Hi everyone, it's Lisa Mears. Today I'm going to be working with some pretty pink Posh products from their February release. I will be making this shaker card using the Party Cake die set, which looks like this. And before I get started with this tutorial, I want to let you know that all product links will be down in the description box. This die set consists of a square frame as well as a cake. You can use this die set for various occasions, such as for birthday cards. You can even make this into a wedding card or any kind of congratulations card, and even an anniversary card. This die has stitching detail all around the square, and there's also a scalloped edge inside of the die. The square frame measures 3 inches wide by 3 inches high. You can use the frame by itself or with the party cake, but you do need to get some wire cutters and cut this party cake away from the frame in order to use that frame. So I die cut the frame out of 2 different color cardstock pieces. I die cut yellow cardstock as well as green cardstock. And what's nice about this frame is actually cuts out the scallop piece separate than the straight edged piece. So you can choose just to use the straight edge piece or use it in conjunction with the scallop. I also die cut the cake out of 3 different color cardstock pieces. I die cut the cake stand from gray cardstock. I die cut pink cardstock, which will be the cake itself, and then the green cardstock, which will represent the frosting and the candles. So I'm going to be turning my frame into a shaker frame, and I'm starting out by cutting a piece of white cardstock that measures 3 inches by 3 inches. That's the size of the actual frame, so that's going to lay underneath the actual square and scalloped piece. And then I have all of my die cut pieces for the cake, and I'm just adding some ink to the edges just to add a little bit of definition to those cardstock pieces. So I added some gray ink to the gray cardstock, and I'm adding some pink ink to the pink cardstock. I'm not going to worry about the green cardstock because those pieces are so small, and I just didn't want to bother with doing the ink on those pieces. So I'm going to assemble my cake on the white area inside of this frame. So what I did is I put my die on the white cardstock. That just gives me a reference of where I need to start the cake stand. And since I didn't want to start that cake stand all the way at the bottom of that white cardstock, it was important that I lay the frame die cut pieces around that white cardstock just so I know where the bottom of that cake stand needs to start. So I go ahead and glue down the pieces starting at the bottom, and I'll work my way up. So I put the stand down first, and now I'm laying the green piece for the frosting. Next, I'm going to add the pink piece, and it's just like putting pieces of a puzzle together. So working my way from bottom to top, here's another frosting layer. You can see that the curves in that frosting fit perfectly into the little curves there in the cake. And now at the top of the cake are the candles, and that die does die cut 5 little candles. I'm going to color the wicks with a yellow Copic marker. It's my Y8 Copic marker. And then the bottom of the candles will stay green. So I went ahead and colored all of the wicks, and now I'm ready to put them on my cake. I'm going to start by adding 1 candle in the center and then gluing the rest of them down. Now I want you to notice as I start laying them down that the candles are not all the same height. So it's important that you make sure that you're lining them up according to the height that they are on the actual die. So the actual shorter candle is in the middle, and the side candles, and you probably can't see this very well, but the actual bottom part of the green piece on this candle on the left is a little bit slanted. So you can see that it goes on the slant on the left. Same thing with the candle on the outside right piece. The bottom part of that green candle is a little bit slanted to fit the slant on the right side of the cake. And then all of the shorter candles are in the middle. So I just spaced those out evenly and glued them down onto that white cardstock to finish up this cake die cut. So what I really love about this cake die cut is that you can customize this to any colors that you want. And if you don't like to color, paper piecing is definitely the way to go to build up a beautiful card. So I added that white 3x3 square to the top center of a white piece of cardstock that measures 4 by 5¼ inches. Now, if you wanted to eliminate that white 3x3 piece, you could have just put that cake directly on that white card layer. So now I'm taking the green frame and I'm gluing it down to a piece of acetate. And the acetate is a little bit larger than the frame, and that's okay. I'm just going to snip off the extra acetate that extends beyond the sides of the frame. So here I'm going to go ahead and add the scalloped piece directly in the middle. I love how you have the option of making it a little bit more fancy by including this scalloped piece. If you didn't want to include it, again, you have that option. So now I'm just cutting away the extra acetate that's extending beyond the frame. And now I'm going to flip that die cut piece over. So now I'm looking on the back side of my frame and I'm adding foam because again, this is going to be a shaker. So I want to make sure that I elevate the frame, and I also want to make sure that I have some foam here so that the shaker pieces stay enclosed inside of my frame. So when I add my foam, I'm making sure that there's no spaces between each piece of foam because I don't want those shaker bits to fall out. I went ahead and laid down one layer of foam in a square shape, and now I'm going to peel back the backing of that foam and I'm going to add one more layer. And the reason why I'm adding one more layer of foam is because I want to make sure that my shaker bits have room to shake inside of this frame. Now, you may not need to add a second layer of foam. It just depends on how thick your shaker bits are. If they're more flat, you may not need this extra layer of foam. So just keep that in mind because you want to have plenty of room here for them to move around inside. So once I have my foam in place, you can see I have that thick wall. I'm going to use these shaker pieces from Pretty Pink Posh. This is the Sherbert clay confetti. I'm going to go ahead and add this clay confetti right on top of that birthday cake. I'm going to make sure they're all pushed to the middle of that birthday cake, and then I'm going to remove the backing on my foam. And once all of that backing is removed, I'm going to pop this frame right on top of that cake, making sure to just follow the guides of that 3x3 piece of white cardstock. Next, I'm going to add a sentiment. So I have a piece of pink cardstock that I added double-sided adhesive tape to the back, ran the Celebrate script die through the die cutting machine. It has now the double-sided adhesive on the back of all of those letters, so I don't have to worry about putting glue to the back of them. And I'm just going to add it directly to the card. Next, I'll add that card layer to a piece of yellow cardstock that's cut to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then I'll add that to a piece of green cardstock that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then that entire layer will be added to an A2 size card base, and an A2 size card base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And that will complete my shaker card. So if you're interested in any of these products, take a look down in the description box below and there will be product links. And be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and have a great day. Bye-bye.